to the police. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't never been that type of person. Like, but I'm not gonna let y'all keep playing in my face. And I'm not gonna let this nigga keep playing in my face either. So, since y'all hoes so worried about it, yes, this nigga Torey shot me. You shot me. And you got your publicists and your people going to these blogs lying.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Yes. Talking to you guys about Meg The Stallion and about reasons why black men don't defend black women. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for a notification of the uploads. And for those of you also who are returnees, and you already know the motto, baby. You already know what we do, baby. Mineral gang. You understand? Mineral gang. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Alright, cool. Listen, let's get into it. Don't forget as well, guys, grab your merchandise as well. Help us to help you. To help me. You understand? Alright, let's get into the video. So, real serious topic now. Talking about obviously Meg The Stallion. If you don't know her, she's a rapper. Quite recently did a song with Cardi B called WAP, which most people know, which grew to huge notoriety in the last few weeks. So the topic obviously that's happened is that Meg The Stallion, has always been alleged reports that Meg The Stallion was shot by Torey Lanez, okay? I remember if you watched my very first video, I'll put a link in here as well. You know that I spoke about the issue previously and we showed a video where she was herself, I think it's herself, Kylie and someone else as well. Whoever was in the car at the time, I'm not sure who it was. But we saw her staggering out and then almost like faint and fall over, right? So we knew that something had happened to her. Obviously the reports came out and said, obviously, I guess the news reporters said that this was a shooting that she received in her foot, okay? Now, there was obviously claims that potentially this was Torey Lanez, but we weren't sure 100% if it was him, right? Nobody want to jump ahead of the news, all right? Cool. So now, fast forward, obviously, we got this live that Meg The Stallion has done recently. And actually, she came out and said straight away, yes, Torey Lanez is the one that shot me. Now, many of us might have been shocked, I guess, to hear those actual words come out of her mouth. I mean, it's a bit different from, I guess, speculating. But when you hear those words come out of somebody's mouth.
Yes, this nigga Torey shot me. You shot me.
You now have to come to a realization that what the person is saying is, number one, true, but two, you have to look at the heinousness and the gravity of the act of shooting somebody, okay? She goes on to explain that that it was an unprovoked attack. I mean, in the sense of, even if it was provoked, let's talk about a punch to a gunshot. The two are completely different.
Talking about I hit this nigga, I never hit you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, did you feel so threatened in your life, Torey, that you felt like you had to take a gun out, get out of the car? She was sitting in the front of the car, and he got out of the back of the car to shoot this girl.
Homegirl and your security. Everybody in the car arguing. I'm in the front seat. This nigga in the back seat. I get out the car. I'm done arguing. I don't want to argue no more. I get out. I'm walking away. This nigga from out the back seat of the car started shooting me. You shot me. I ain't get cut by no glass, but let me tell you why they saying that.
Okay, now whether he might have maybe he was trying to scare her, maybe, I don't know, if he was trying to shoot the ground and kind of warn her to let her know, listen, I don't play around. Unfortunately, that has gone wrong. And not only that, we see that obviously the spin doctors that Torey Lanez has been using, she accuses Torey Lanez of using spin doctors to come out and actually spin the story.
You shot me. And you got your publicists and your people going to these blogs lying.
Okay, and let people know that obviously, no, she didn't get shot in the foot. She basically cut her leg or whatever, etc. There was apparently he was being harassed and physically abused, and therefore that was the reasoning for whatever happened. Now we don't get the story of him actually shooting him. We don't hear him confessing that he shot her, but we say that he does. Well, allegedly, she has accused him of spinning stories out like this. Now, I think the real reason why Meg Stallion came out and actually defended herself, showed a picture of her foot being shot, showing stitches that she had received, coming to talk out her truth, is simply because number one, how can you defend somebody, and this is what she says in her story, and that person can then turn around, spin the story so that you still look bad. Imagine you are trying to protect somebody's image and your own as well at the same time. Don't get it twisted. Keeping it off the blogs, keeping it off the internet, for that person to turn around and say, turn around and die. Like, just imagine, like, no, all jokes aside, for that person to turn around and actually to spin the story so that you look bad.
You want me to tell the laws that we got a gun in the car so they can shoot all of us up? Nigga, I'm scared. They can helicopter over us and some more shit. Why would I tell the laws somebody got a gun in this car and this nigga shot me? So I can get shot, you can get shot, she can get shot, he can get shot. I ain't tell the police what happened immediately right then because I didn't want to die.
Now, that's a level of madness that we can't accept. And I guess one of the questions that people might be asking is, where are the rappers at? Where are the black male rappers? Where's 50 Cent to cuss out Torey Lanez when we need him? Man's quick to cuss everybody else out. Man's quick to lay bars and jokes on everybody else's live, but this is the real stuff. Where are the rappers to come out and defend Meg The Stallion? Where are they? Well, they are just like any of us normally black men. Missing, unfound, okay, corruptible hard drive. They are not around, okay? As I always say, send them back to the manufacturer, because evidently they've lost their purpose here. They've lost their seasoning and they lost their salt. They've also lost the understanding that, listen, our women need to be protected, not just because they are black, but because they're also, not only just because they're black, but women in general need to be protected. Like, men are probably the scariest gender, if you want to call it, on earth. But specifically black women, because they get both, there's racism and the sexism together. There is no other woman on this earth like a black woman who gets targeted for both being a woman and being black. You understand? So there's a duality here. And for black men, we've seen, it seems like there's been a missing link between them defending and them attacking. They're quick to attack, quick to defend a white woman, so it seems, but slow to defend a black woman. All right, now I want to put this obviously flip side. There has been a great story that's been coming out obviously recently where a young man has been defending this black woman on her porch from I call them neighborhood terrorists. Yeah, and the neighborhood terrorists so happen to be white. I mean, I don't know. It might be a coincidence. I don't know. But the truth of the matter is, obviously, we see that there are some good black men who are willing to defend black women. What we're talking about is, let's take it on a general consensus. Are black men doing this? And it so seems like it's not happening. And Meg The Stallion is another example of a failed defense of a black man, right? Or a failed defense of a black woman, I should say. So she goes on to say, like I said, that, you know, she intentionally didn't tell the police at the time that they had a gun or that she got shot, because evidently, you know, and I absolutely totally hear this. And I think this is where black women often suffer because of the history of slavery. Yeah, you know, guys, I like to break it down and bring you back. And we're going to go a little bit deeper into that in a second. Give me a second. But we know, obviously, through slavery that white femininity is different from black femininity. And that when black women are airing their feelings of pain, they don't get taken seriously. Why? Because the whole history has the history of slavery has pushed a narrative that black women are angry and they are aggressive and they can take pain. And so therefore, even black men unfortunately have bought into this idea through indoctrination, through media and TV, and also as well through their own experiences and the lack of fathers in the society. And they have bought into this idea that black women are superwomen and you can do anything you want to them because they will bounce back. They're like rubber. Just keep on throwing them, just keep on stretching them and keep on pulling them in different directions. Don't worry, they won't die. They're Stretch Armstrong. And so this idea, which has been stretching back, no pun intended, stretching back to the days of slavery, when 400 years or so ago, the idea of race being a determining factor of class and humanity, one of the things that they really wanted to do is push this idea that the black woman was a creature. She was an animal. She was an aggressive beast. And therefore, she don't feel pain. In fact, I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy who was, I think he's a gynecologist, whatever, famous gynecologist in history, he treated so many black women when they were pregnant due to them being under slave owners, being pregnant so the children could become slaves as well. He treated them, obviously, with some of the injuries that they had from having babies, right? And he intentionally treated black women without any anesthetic. When he got anesthetic, he started treating white women. and stop treating black women. Yeah, because you know why? Black women don't feel pain. Right? And this has been medically documented. We see it in hospitals. We are more likely to die from childbirth than our counterparts of white women. And why is that so? Because of the way that we view black women and their pain. We see them as pain bearers. We see them as pain we see them as pain holders, rather than seeing them as women. We see them as an amalgamation, or should say a coalition of both female and male. So therefore they kind of fall into this bracket. They're not necessarily male, but sometimes we treat them like males, but we see them as females when it comes to certain things, but then we treat them as males in other areas. So, you know, there's no time where they're fully female, because we don't want to give them that space. We can't, because their femininity is in direct contrast to the white woman's femininity. Therefore, they can't win. Right? So, and you have to understand about femininity. Femininity is what allows them to be seen as soft. And when I say soft, I don't mean as in terms of they can't do things, but seen as vulnerable. The Bible even says, listen, that we should, you know, take care of our women, because they are the weaker vessel. Vessel. Understand something? Vessel. Meaning this body that you're in is a weaker version of the man's one, physically. Yeah, in most cases. So the Bible tells us, take care. Because these are the weaker vessels. You know, so as a man, your masculine energy is supposedly meant to be, as I always say, becoming a place where you can protect and allow the feminine energy to grow at its maximum ability. You know, this is why when Adam saw Eve, he said, "The bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh," right? And his whole thing was meant to protect and guide her, right? In that time, he didn't do it. He let the snake talk to her, and now we're here. Now women got periods. So y'all want to blame anybody? Wait till you get to heaven and listen to Eve's TED Talk. Now, back to Meg The Stallion. Obviously, one thing I noticed about it, as I was watching it, the way that she was talking, I
think because I didn't want to die. I don't want the police to shoot me because it's a nigga with a gun in the car. I'm leaking.
Saw the indoctrination even with myself. I started seeing her and the way she's talking, like back. And I saw that and I said, that's where the white femininity versus the black femininity comes in. The fact she's doing back talking, someone sees it as she's talking like a dude. So how do you treat her? Like a dude. And so therefore now the sympathy doesn't come in. Whereas you see a white woman, if a white woman comes and goes, you know, I was shot in the foot, you know, by this guy, he's so crazy, the waterworks start coming out, he was so crazy that he did what he did, what happens? Instantly, sympathy and empathy comes for her. We start feeling emotion towards her. We don't want to, we feel bad that she's had to experience this. Why? Because what we've been taught is white femininity is this, and we've been taught that pure femininity is this, which is white women, and the wrong femininity is black women. They are aggressive, they are hard, they're coarse, they're too black, all of that. But that all stems from slavery, okay? So, you know, talking about obviously why black men don't defend black women, like just talking about it, you know. So, you know, another thing is also about Meg The Stallion is that, you know, she really did defend him. Like, she didn't tell the police, even the doctors per se, she didn't tell him. So these guys got away with it, and then you want to come and spin stories in the news. You're mad. You're the Chris. You'd have lost your marbles, because they don't make no sense. You know what I mean? And that just shows how ungrateful these people are. That just lets you know that we don't have to defend abusers. We don't have to offend those who are DVs, domestically violent. We don't have to defend people that are physically abusive, emotionally abusive, spiritually abusive, financially abusive. We don't defend abusers. Do you know why? Because they do stuff like this. You defend them and they still turn on you and twist it because of their narcissistic traits. I'm just being real. Now, why do black men often don't defend black women? Is because of our history. When you look at the history of slavery, the black woman was in the field, the black man was in the field. We're both working, right? But here's the thing: as soon as a black man wanted to, let's say, have his wife and kids and live a happily ever after, although it be that he's a slave, the white man would come in, rape the woman, and the black man, if he did decide to stand up, would either be killed or reprimanded in a very violent way. And I'm talking about violent. I'm not talking about a quick death where you get shot in the head. I'm talking about all sorts of contraptions, putting things in your arse and expanding it, putting things in your mouth and expanding it. I'm talking about very vile things. I'm talking about iron branding. I'm talking about piercing. I'm talking about cutting off your testicles. I'm talking about chopping off foots. I'm talking about stuff that, listen, let me tell you something, when you see it, it traumatizes you to the point where now what happens? You become maligned. You become you become desensitized, but you come to a point where you don't want to experience that trauma no more. You can't take it. So what do? You pass on that information not only in your ideas and your thoughts and in stories and your advice to your future generations. Other people see it and pass it on to their kids and future generations, but also trauma has been said to carry on in the cells. So even if they don't say anything, the trauma of facing these perilous times every single time passed on to the kids. What's the message that's being passed on? Is that, listen, if you stand up for the black woman, you will be reprimanded. You stand up for the black woman, you will be killed. You stand up for the black woman, you will be hurt. You will be punished and you will be tortured. Now, here's the thing. When you do that over consecutively, then the idea is what passes down after a while. Doesn't have to be the actual thing anymore. Just needs to have the idea, and that gets passed down generation to generation. And you see that now. He said now that the idea has become a part of society. It's now, you don't have to say it now, it's a part of society, and then it gets triggered in the minds of these black males through entertainment and movies. When you keep seeing interracial relationships, and I'm not against them, I'm just letting you know of some of the things. When you see a black male, a dark-skinned black male, and they intentionally put many dark-skinned black males with a light-skinned female. And you're like, wait, hold on a minute, why? And the reason why is because, again, they want to condition you into a mindset. Forget your black woman. Don't defend her. Don't go after her. Leave her alone, okay? All right, cool. So the black man, okay, obviously, you want to, okay, put it with a white woman now, all right? Or put it with a light-skinned woman. Do you know what I mean? Like, make sure it's not with a dark-skinned woman, right? And then you see there's very few representations in the media for a good reason. Right, but it's many representation of a dark-skinned male and a light-skinned female. Now, as to obviously when it comes to sports and everything like that, that's a whole different ball and arena. But specifically when we're talking about the images that are portrayed and the ideas that are given to a generation, they are there to trigger what's been put in the minds and the hearts of individual people, and unknowingly sometimes, unconditionally. Now, someone might say, how is that women don't succumb to the tactics, but men do? And the truth of the matter is that there's another aspect when it comes to this. Although men were being reprimanded and being tortured and beaten and killed, there were men that did stand up, okay? And they were killed. And now here's the thing. There's another side of it, which is that men and ego in general, when it comes to men, you know, they like equality. They like to be on the same level playing field. If they feel like they've got the same qualities as you, they don't want to see themselves being unfairly judged and unfairly given reward. So what do? They try to equalize themselves. Now, what happens when you've got a disparity between white males and black males? What you do is that the white male begins to send messages to the black male. If you want to be like us in the boys club, you know what you got to do. You ain't got to date those black females, right? Now, it's not being said explicitly. It's an idea that's given. And so what happens is, you saw that in the slavery times and you saw a lot of times where you see the white woman in the field, or white woman in the house, she may have relations with a black male. I'm not saying it was as often as a white man raping a black woman, but I'm saying you might have seen a few relations. Why? Because again, the black men got fetishized, sexualized, okay, and in order for them to escape their trauma, okay, someone might say take the easy way out. One of the things they did was that obviously then began to assimilate with white women. And we see that trickling down as an idea to escape the perils by escaping. So here's the thing. Why is it that men do that? It's because they have the ability to escape. Black women do not. The whole point is that black men, because they are men and society favors men, because we're in a patriarchy, they have the option to opt out, whereas black women do not have that power to do so. You don't have the social ranking, you don't have the social pool, you don't, you know what I'm saying? Unlike black men who have position, authority and power in some shape and in some form. And I've spoken about this very much previously, talking about the fact that you know, black males can sometimes use black women as their stepping stone to acquiring power. So they will exercise their level of power on black women because they can't exercise it on anybody else. Right? And so you see this lack of defense for our black women because the conditioning has been happening hundreds of years ago. And now we're here at a point where the idea of defending a black woman, okay, may not be attached directly to the image of being maimed, killed, or tortured, but the subconsciousness understands that because we've been programmed from day dot till now. And that's just I'm just breaking it down on what we see. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I do believe it's going to change. I do believe it is changing. And so one of the things I want to talk about obviously as well is that, you know, because of this label of being aggressive, both men and women, it becomes very hard to defend a woman because masculinity needs to defend femininity. Or should I say, yeah, masculinity needs to defend feminine energy. Now, when you present an idea that black women are not feminine, and therefore they carry more masculine energy, the masculine energy won't do its job. Why? Because it realizes you're masculine. We don't defend you. Like you know what I'm saying? You defend yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's what masculine energy is about, right? And so what happens is that because they've tarnished the image of a black woman in terms of femininity, the black man psychologically doesn't want to defend this black woman because she's not feminine. She's not creating the narrative that she's vulnerable. For instance, when I watched Meg The Stallion, I never saw her cry. You know what I'm saying? And even if you did see her cry, it will be classed as, oh, she's just being soft. But actually, when you see a white woman cry, oh my God, like what's happened? Da, 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 da. Because the idea's been put into our head that black women just are not going to experience pain. So therefore, there's no vulnerability for them. No vulnerability means no femininity, because that part of femininity is that vulnerability and the need to be covered, okay? It doesn't mean that you're weak. It just means that the masculinity can now begin to cover the femininity in the aspect of being physically strong. Do you get me? But we can't do that when you present an idea of femininity being masculine. Therefore, the man responds in a certain way. So, guys, that is all I'm going to say on a particular topic. If you disagree or agree, comment down below. For me, I just really believe that you know, we need to take arms and defend our black women. And that will begin to happen more as society begins to shift and begins to change their mindsets and a lot of things concerning black folk. But yeah, the truth of the matter is, you know, there is a lot of times where black men don't defend black women because they're unwilling to die. And they're unwilling to sacrifice themselves. They're unwilling to die on the line. That's just as simple as it is. And as well, might I also add, snitch code don't work for those who are civilians. Snitch code don't work for those who are civilians. Okay, dry snitching, wet snitching, you know what I'm saying, all weather storm type of snitching, lightning snitching, I don't give a damn. It's not snitching if I'm a civilian. I wasn't involved in the crime, I didn't snitch. Okay, I wasn't involved in the crime, how can I snitch? Snitches get stitches, but they are snitches who were doing the crime with you, and then they snitched. They are accomplices to the crime, and then they snitched on you. That's snitching, not when I'm a civilian. Okay, I'm not a part of this lifestyle, I'm not a part of it. Don't include me in snitching. You gotta go down, okay? You gotta go down. You understand? You gotta go down. For you guys, stay loud, stay loaded. They're unwilling to die on the line. So guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the war uploads. We appreciate you. Stay locked, stay loaded. More love, man.